Welcome to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by thesoberclub.com. I'm Janey Grace. This is for you if you've quit the booze or you'd like to, or maybe you're just sober curious. I'll bring you tips and motivation without any judgment, and there'll be inspiration from experts, quit-lit authors, and sober heroes. Hi and welcome to the podcast. How you doing? I must just give a shout out to anyone who has been doing Dry January. Yay, fantastic. Whatever stage you're at, keep going. Don't stop at the end of January. You'd be bonkers to stop. And if you are finding it difficult, then reframe it, get in touch, connect with somebody, contact me. I'll support you. I'll be your cheerleader. Because if you can get through this hard bit, honestly, it gets so much better. I have had a few messages from people saying, I'm on day 10 or I'm on day 15 or 18 or whatever it is, and I'm feeling all right. I'm worried. I'm a little bit worried about what's going to happen when I go to X function or X party or whatever it is in the future, but right now I'm doing good. You know what? It gets easier. I promise you it gets easier, and you get good at prepping your sober toolkit. So honestly, it really gets easier. So if that's you, if you're in that position and you're in the Dry January mode, don't forget that little hashtag I had going for a while, stay dry till July. That's a much better idea. Don't just do Dry January, do 6 months, and then you'll really start to see the benefits, right? The difference will be just incredible. What else was I going to tell you? Oh yeah, just today on the radio, I just caught, I don't know who it was, so I can't quote the person, but I just came in on the end of a conversation that was on a news item about the massive increase in alcohol-related deaths since lockdowns and God knows what. It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess. And this, I assume it was a doctor, was basically saying, look, here's the thing. There's evidence to show that some alcohol is good for us. Words to the effect of, so it's really good to drink some, and 14 units a week is the recommended. What? I mean, I screaming at the radio. Oh, yeah, I sure was. What absolute BS. Honestly, seriously, the Emperor is not wearing any clothes. It's such nonsense. I so want to direct whoever that was. I'm going to have to find out. To listen to my podcast, my interview with Dr. Anya Topiwala, senior lead researcher on that study that showed conclusively that literally no amount of alcohol is safe for us. And it most certainly is not good for us. We might be healthy despite the alcohol. That's possible. But we certainly aren't healthy because of it. I absolutely dispute that. If you're listening and you want the debate, bring it on. I'm happy. I'm really happy to do that. Of course I wouldn't have said that 5.5 years ago. I'd have loved that interview. I'd have taken that interview as license to just have copious amounts of booze. Oh yeah, good for the heart, that's just great. Anyway, so you've heard me say this an awful lot of times. And I've said it on TV, and I've debated this topic in on TV, of course. But if you are I suppose the reason I'm saying this is because if you are in these early stages where you're sober curious and you're thinking about it and you're wondering, well, shall I carry on? And then maybe you hear something like that and it makes you think, it's not that bad. I'm not that bad. I just want to bring you the other side of the story, which is that life is better without the booze, okay? That's the bit that doesn't get said enough. You don't have to wait till you're at rock bottom. You don't have to wait till you're tipping into 15 units. Oh dear, should I stick to 14? How about living your best life? How about that? How about focusing on just how fantastic it is to not be held back, not be caught in the alcohol trap, to be able to actually have clarity and a sense of authenticity, to know who you are, to be present for your kids or your work or whatever it is you do with your life, right? And I just see this all the time with Sober Club members. Just seeing the change in people is absolutely amazing. Just watching the transformations. It really is just incredible. So yeah, there you go. You've heard me say it yet again. This is worth doing. Don't wait till you hit rock bottom, okay? And of course, course, one of the ways that makes it so much easier is that you can keep the ritual, change the ingredients. You absolutely can. It's so much easier now to still have a lovely drink. You do not have to resort to, warm orange juice. You can have something fabulous to drink. And I'm absolutely chuffed that this week we've teamed up with Punchy. Now, a lot of people I work with will say, well, I'm not drinking and I don't want, in inverted commas, replacement alcohol, but I still want a really nice drink. So Punchy are these really fantastic premium soft drinks. They're low calories. You don't have to worry about that, because that's the other thing people say to me all the time. Oh, yeah, but really worried about the calories. And these have got all natural ingredients, so they're super good. Even a splash of vitamin D in them. So they're in cans. They're plastic-free cans, and they're all packed. Well, they say they're packed with 50% of your daily vitamin D, which is pretty cool. And they've got great ingredients sourced from all over the world and brought together in unique, vibrant flavours. And I was also reading, they was telling me, this brand, that they've joined forces with a charity that provides sustainable food relief and finding creative ways to strengthen communities, the Great Oven. So they donate 1% of sales and 1% of stock to this charity every year. So that's pretty cool as well. So they've got 3 flavours to choose from. So you can choose the Golden Hour, they're great names, which is a blend of carefully selected ingredients. So they call it a sun trap because it's brimming with Italian blood orange and cardamom and that lovely zesty kind of aromatic bitter taste. It's absolutely great. You can drink it just obviously straight from the can, or you can serve it over ice and have a nice, pimp it with a slice of orange on the side. And then they've got the first dip, which has Spanish yuzu and rosemary with cucumber. So you can tell that's a real selective, lovely taste. A kind of green notes from the rosemary in that one, really refreshing. And you can serve that with a little sprig of rosemary. And then they've got the Holiday Romance, what a cool name, which is Italian peach, Sri Lankan ginger, and chai. These flavours are just absolutely gorgeous. So it's kind of juicy, peachy kind of taste. And then you've got a little bit of the heat from the ginger. So honestly, they're such lovely drinks, funky cans as well. So make sure you check them out. And also on the Sober Club and over at my site, my imperfectlynatural.com site, you can enter a competition to win a month's supply of these fabulous drinks. So obviously I'll put the link to the show note in the show notes to the competition, and you can check them out at punchdrinks.com. I'm super pleased that my guest this week, I've been trying to get these guys on the podcast for ages. Actually, I forgot to tell you that it's the 4th year. I'm celebrating the 4th year of the podcast. Can you honestly believe that? 4 years and I've never had a week off. What's the matter with me? I'm nuts, right? But I love it. Why would I not? Getting to interview such wonderful guests, and I've just have been so unbelievably lucky over the years. Actually, to celebrate my 4th podcast birthday, I would love it if you would let me know some of your favourite guests. Will you drop me a message just at Janey Lee Grace on Instagram or on Twitter or on Facebook? You can find me and just drop me a message. Just let me know what were your favourite episodes and maybe why. I'd really love to know. Maybe we'll do a rerun of some of the favourites, or I'll invite some of the guests back. And I'm always open to hearing suggestions for great guests as well. So I'd really appreciate that if you'd let me know. And anyways, these guys, the Happy Pear, I had several people write to me and say, I love these guys, I love the work they do, I love their recipes. Some people are lucky enough to even live near them, which is even cooler. And I had not realised they were sober. How could I not have known? And of course, as soon as I found out, how cool to get these guys on the podcast. Just an absolute joy to chat to the Happy Pear. Well, I'm so thrilled. I've finally got the Happy Pear. Actually, the pair of them. How lovely to see you guys.
Thanks, Janey.
Just brilliant to see you. Looks very cool there in your little studio. So we got Steve and Dave. Tell us a bit about your background then, because we know you from books and all the stuff you put out. And then, of course, if people are lucky enough, you've actually got like premises and everything.
Yeah. So yes. So first and foremost, lovely to be here. Thanks a million. And yeah, we're identical twin men now. We're 43 years old. And we grew up in a small little town in Greystones. So it's by the sea, east coast of Ireland, 20k south of Dublin. And we grew up in, two brothers of four boys, went to all boys schools. And as identical twins, we were overachievers. So by the time we were 18, we were playing semi-pro and rugby. We were both off scratch and golf. And we used to do modeling because it was a good way of meeting girls. And yeah, it was social credit.
And alcohol was kind of just a general part of the social if you would. It was a given. It was never questioned. It was just, you drank for more confidence. You drank to fit in. We went to an all boys school and played a lot of rugby, as we said. You drank to kind of fit in with the lads, and then you drank to kind of prove your masculinity, if you will.
But it was mostly you drank to meet girls, because it gave confidence to meet girls, because we were a family of all boys schools. Alcohol was the only cue to, make you integrate. So it wasn't until and that kind of continued on until we went to university and studied business. And then when we were 21, we ended up we just finished college, and Mom bought us a ticket to go interrailing around Europe. So this is 2001. And she said, well done, I never thought you'd finish. I'm so proud of you. And she bought us a ticket to go interrailing. And we went interrailing around Europe, just getting drunk and chasing international women. And we had signed up to do a marathon that October, and we ended up going traveling in August. And we were meant to train the whole way through. I think we were maybe away July and August. And we were meant to train for the marathon when we were away, but we I don't know, we just forgot to. We never got round to it. So we came back and we had a month left before the marathon. And Steve said, why don't we do a detox? And like, this is more than 20 years ago. So there was nothing there was no internet. So we went to the local library and see if it had a book. And it wasn't like now where there was loads of books on it. They got us a book a week later from the library in Dublin. And it said, right, brown bread and Weetabix and orange
Really?
and give up alcohol. It's like, oh, well, okay. Well, let's try this, Steve. So for a month we did it. We ate, this is before the marathon, we ate brown bread instead of white bread. We ate bran flakes instead of corn flakes. And we gave up alcohol. And this was the first time we ever thought about it. We'd when we were away that summer, we met these three guys. Two were Canadian, one was New Zealand guy. And they went out and they socialized with alcohol. And that was the first seed, I'd say.
But we went out and we had one of the most fun nights ever. And there was
without booze.
There was no alcohol. And
it was in Rome.
It was exuberant, and it was childlike, and it was just euphoric. And it was kind of like, it was one of those kind of light bulb like moments where it's like, oh my God, you can socialize, meet people, have a laugh, and it doesn't evolve around alcohol, and you don't have to pay the price of a hangover.
Yeah. Amazing.
So anyway,
that was a long time ago. You're so ahead of the curve.
Yeah. So that was 21. We're 22 at this stage, and then we ended up both going away traveling separately to see what else life had on offer. And we ended up changing our diet to become plant-based and vegan, and got into meditation and yoga and organic farms and all sorts of wild and wonderful things. And then November the 26th, 2004, we ended up coming back that year. I think it was 2004, to our home little town of Greystones. We left as these two, pint swilling, semi-pro rugby players that were essential jocks. And then we came back 2 years later as these long-haired vegan hippies that were starting a vegetable shop. And
amazing.
Started the Happy Pear's vegetable shop to start a food.
Wow. Oh my God, how amazing. So we'll talk a bit more about the alcohol bit in a minute. But what would you say then is your sort of, what's the kind of bottom line, as it were, for your view on what we should eat now? And certainly in terms of, if we did want to talk about detox for this time of year, what's your view on that? Because I'm guessing it's not brown bread and Weetabix.
Can I go?
Yeah.
In terms of diet, I think diet can be like religion. There can be many people who are carnivorous or whatever diet it is. But I think in our experience, and we have a lot of courses with lots of different medical professionals, we've a Good Health Revolution course with a consultant gastroenterologist. We have a menopause course with a senior consultant gynecologist. We have a weight management course with a bariatric GP. So we partner with loads of medical experts, and we've realized what
we've had more than 120,000 people through them over the last decade. So there's been loads of people through them.
And we've learned, I guess, time and time again, the impact that diet and lifestyle can have on your overall health. And what we always say is, it's no one's perfect, but to try to eat as much of a whole food plant-based diet as you can. And for anyone who listens and goes, what's a whole food plant-based diet? I can't buy that in the shop. It's like fruit, vegetables, beans, legumes, nuts and seeds, and whole grains. So if you look to the blue zones, which are the 5 areas of the planet where there's the longest living people, typically like they don't live these long, healthy lives because they've special genes, or that they're like they're some super variety of human. It's because the healthy choice is the easy choice. And the health in terms of diet, 95% of the calories they consume are whole plant foods. Versus if you look at the average diet in, say, the UK, it's typically 55 to 60% ultra processed foods, 35 to 40% animal based foods, and typically less than 10% whole plant foods. So I think there's no perfect. It's about doing your best. But the research is pretty clear, the more you can move towards a whole food plant based diet, the more beneficial it is for your overall health.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, and you're absolutely right. And you know, here in the UK, I mean, I don't know if it's the same in Ireland, but here in the UK, our GPs, you know, are not trained in nutrition. it's the most important thing, but they're not trained in it. I think they get half a day in whatever it is, 5-6 years. So I don't know if that's the same in Ireland. But there's something really wrong there, isn't there? That your kind of starting point is, you know, as you said, you've partnered with medical professionals, and actually what we really need is to equate health, proper health, with food, rather than, you know, as you say, ultra processed foods.
Yeah, and the hard thing is that we live in a food culture, it's an obesogenic food environment. So it's a lot easier to go out and buy pizza and chips and burgers and chocolate bars and Monster energy drinks than it is to actually, you know, buy a whole lot of whole plant foods and cook it yourself. Like, it's the easy choice is the unhealthy choice. Whereas if you look at the blue zones, the longest living people on the planet, it's, as Stephen said, it's just that a lot of them grow their own veg. You know, they don't have cars, they cycle everywhere. Like, the easy choice is the healthy choice. Whereas in our current first world cultures, or most industrial nations, it's a lot easier to eat junk food than it is health food. So it's an epidemic. It's like, as Will often says, if anyone's overweight or ill health, it's probably not your fault. It's just that our current food culture, like capitalism and food, is, you know, we incentivize food companies. They get incentives when they, you know, produce foods that don't lead to our health. You know,
absolutely. And how brilliant that you actually sell these great veg, then, I'm guessing now, because one of the issues is it's not the easiest to get really good fresh food. And you know, and you're right, it's so much easier just to pick up the crap as you hit the supermarket.
Yeah, I guess, but like, we started the Happy Pear 18 years ago. And we started with a little fruit and veg. So we started with a little fruit and veg shop with a dream of using it as the HQ or headquarters for a food revolution. It's got grown arms and legs. Like, we have a sourdough bakery, we have a cafe, we have a restaurant, we have a sprout farm, we have a 4-acre regenerative farm. We've
amazing
food products in about 1,000 stores.
But food products. So what do you mean by food products?
So from
real food.
So from lasagnas to hummuses to granolas to plant-based burgers based on whole foods to soups to pestos to sauces to pizzas. So we've got a full suite of I guess the whole aim is to make healthy food accessible.
Yeah, fantastic. Tell me about your sprout farm. I'm guessing you mean sprouted seeds as opposed to Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, exactly.
Which one of my friends, I told him he really needs to have more sprouts. He's like, I hate Brussels sprouts, they give me wind.
Yeah, little baby cabbages. Yeah, no, this is sprouted seeds or sprouted beans. So typically they're between 20 and 30 times more nutritious than the most nutritious veg. And even if you think about it, even if you're to go down to your local farm and get, say, Calabrese broccoli, or you found some organic regenerative purple sprouting broccoli, oh my God.
I had some for dinner last night.
Of course, well, you're so right on, Dave. But they'll cut it, and the moment they cut it, it's decomposing. It's gone from this living vital food that's packed full of enzymes to suddenly it's decomposing. And typically you'll bring it home, put it in your fridge, leave it there for a couple of days, and then you'll cook it. So typically, you know, the nutritional availability of the nutrients in that has disappeared or have reduced significantly. But living foods, right up till the moment you eat them, they're alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Built-in enzymes that help with the absorption of those nutrients, and also those nutrients typically are in more absorbable fashion. So back about 15 years ago, our younger brother was doing triathlons for Ireland. He was looking for anything that would give him the edge. Mom and Dad had come back from this place in Florida called Hippocrates Health Institute. Where they were using kind of diet and lifestyle to help build up people's immune system in terms of terminally ill diseases. And it worked in many cases. So he started getting into wheatgrass and sprouts. And by sprouts, I mean sprouted alfalfa, sprouted aduki, chickpea, sprouted beans and seeds. And he found it really helped him recover, which meant he could train harder, which meant his athletic performance improved. So he was like, wow, this is amazing. Everyone's got to eat this food. This is amazing. So I guess we started a sprout farm, and now we do.
So do you actually sell the freshly sprouted seeds, or you just
we'll sell kind of alfalfa, we'll sell radish, we'll sell
God, I need to live near you. Life would be so much easier. Because I tried to buy some. I wanted like mixed seeds for sprouting, but you can't get them anymore. You can only get you could buy a bag of mung beans or a bag of alfalfa, but you can't buy mixed ones anymore.
If you buy a 500-gram pack of aduki or 500 pack of mung and just mix them together.
I just guess mix.
You do.
Yeah, and it really is simple. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know how to do it, just give us the lowdown, because it really is easy, isn't it?
Depends on the type. Like if you're going for sprouted beans, like they're the easiest, like mung.
Mung beans, just talk about the easy ones.
Yeah, mung and aduki and chickpea are very easy, or lentil. Like mung and lentil are really easy. Simply soak them overnight, so 12 hours, and then drain them into a colander, and then or drain them into a sieve, and then rinse them a couple of times, and then leave them there. And the next day come back and rinse them again, and the next day come back and rinse them again, and just leave them on your counter, like over a bowl. And within 3 to 5 days, they'll have sprouted nice long tails.
Yeah,
and all that they need is a little bit of light, not direct light, indirect light, and water once or twice a day.
So they don't live in water after the first day they're germinating. But the beautiful thing is about, like, many people can spend months kind of germinate their tomato plants, and up they grow, and then a fucking slug eats them. You get a harvest every 3 days,
every 5 days.
Yeah. Really cheap. They're growing until the moment you eat them, and you don't have to get your hands dirty.
Exactly. And you can put them in salads or anything, sandwiches, anything. Yeah, amazing. Yeah. So I'd love to know your guys' view on one of the things that I talk about all the time, with people I work with, is the importance of eating really well, whole food, when you first stop drinking, because your brain chemistry is all over the shop, and it's just super important. Would you agree that having that real food particularly when you first stop drinking, is key?
I think it's got two components to it. The first one, it gives you something to focus on, because when you give up alcohol, you need a few things to really focus on. And when you're focused on learning new recipes, oh my God, what is radicchio? What is, where do I get a butternut squash? How do I cook this? And all these various things, like that can be a great focus. So number one, new habits is really important, and cooking could be a great one. And then number two is definitely your whole biology changes. Like it really does, because you're eating, if you shift to, and we're not saying it's all or nothing, like it's, if you start eating more whole plant foods and start stacking the deck in that way, you're going to be eating a lot more fiber. You're going to get a lot more water rich foods. Like fiber doesn't contain any calories, nor does water. They're naturally low in calories. So you will lose weight. You will gain energy. You will have a lot more vitality about you. Your sleep will improve. Even studies, the smallest piece of research in New Zealand put people that were at various different stages of depression on a high fiber diet, plant-based diet. And they found within a short period of time that their moods and emotions and even their medication were reduced quite drastically. So it really impacts your moods as well as everything else.
And even if you think about it, alcohol typically is often used to clean a cut, a disinfectant, because it kills bacteria. And if you look at your gut, where your microbiome lives, which is a collection of bacteria, yeast, archaea, and fungi. So by drinking alcohol, obviously it's not good for your microbiome. Your microbiome is the home of your immune system. 70% of your immune system exists in your microbiome. So by cutting out alcohol, one, you're stopping killing a lot of the good and bad bacteria. And number two, by eating a plant-based diet, you're actually eating a lot of fiber, which is a prebiotic, which is the main food that the bacteria in your microbiome need to kind of procreate and proliferate.
And that's where we come back to eating loads of veg, isn't it? Because the microbiome loves loads of diverse foods, as many different kind of plants and veg and herbs and spices as you can get in there, really.
Yeah, the American Gut Project, where they took stool samples of 14,000 people, and it's ongoing. But they found that the single biggest thing you could do to improve your gut health was to eat fiber-rich foods. And the second part, and only typically 1 in 250 people actually achieve this, is to eat more than 30 different types of whole plant foods per week, or fruit and veg.
Yeah. But you can add herbs and spices, so it gets a bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, herbs and spices.
But still, typically based on their research, only 1 in 250 people actually achieve this. So as easy as it is, people aren't doing it.
No, very true. I know there'll be people listening who are saying, oh, well, it's all very well, but if you're trying to eat well and you're vegan, where does the protein come from? So how do you answer that one?
I'd say first and foremost, it's not about vegan and vegetarian. It's not, because those have become religious terms. It's about eating more fruit and veg and more whole food. So first and foremost, drop those words, because people go, I'm not one of those.
Absolutely fine. And I could eat a vegan diet and eat vegan chocolate, vegan hamburgers, vegan ice cream.
And it'd be really unhealthy.
Extremely unhealthy.
Whereas what we're recommending is to eat the majority of your calories are whole plant foods. So the healthy aspect of vegan.
So, but just to answer your question in terms of protein, like if you think about it, like what are the biggest animals in the UK?
A cow.
Elephants?
No.
They probably don't grow in the UK, don't live in the UK.
Yeah, where does a cow get their protein from? Grass and green leaves. And you kind of go, what? But they're massive, and they're like so many times the amount of weight. Their bones must hold so much more. They've so much more muscle. Even look at a horse. What does the horse eat? Grass. Okay. So they eat just grass and leaves, and we're humans, we're a lot less weight. Where do we get our protein from? It originally, not being smart, it originally comes from the sun. It's a process where the sun shines and it turns it into plants, and animals get it from eating plants. So, protein, your body is amazing. Proteins are broken down into amino acids in your body, and you get protein from everything, really, from apples, from watermelon, from every type of food you eat. Your body turns it into different amino acids. And I'm talking about whole foods really here. So there was the idea that if, an animal food is a complete protein, but your body is so smart, it
can synthesize and combine amino acids from different foods to ensure you get a complete protein. And a friend, Dr. Colin T. Campbell, author of the China study, he tried to do a piece of research whereby if people were eating, a predominantly whole food, plant-based diet, could he possibly come up with a diet that was deficient in protein, assuming they were eating enough food or getting enough calories? And he had to give up the research. So it's kind of generally said, if you're someone that's eating enough calories, the only way you would largely be deficient in protein is if you're eating kind of 3 or 4 different foods. So it's like
junk food.
I think the bigger issue is fiber. In the UK, typically it's 8 out of 10 people are deficient in fiber. So protein, most people are getting more than enough protein, and probably too much protein, in fact. Whereas fiber, 8 out of 10 people in the UK are deficient in fiber. And fiber, you only get in fruit, veg, beans, legumes, nuts and seeds, and whole grain.
Yeah, and as you say, as many raw foods and living foods as you can have, really. Yeah, fascinating stuff. So tell us a little bit about your tips for people who want to ditch the booze. Then you've got an alcohol-free challenge. Tell us a bit about that.
I think it's about, if you're curious about it, I'd say it's to jump right in and give yourself, whether it's 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, whatever it is. But I think I'm going to cut down never really works, because then you are the victim of the environment and who you're socializing with. So I think it's much better having a hard edge and going, right, I'm giving it up for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And simply, it's not an indefinite thing. It's just you're taking a break to reevaluate the situation, because so much of drinking is just done unconsciously. It is so intertwined with social gatherings in our societies, yet most of us don't question it. And I think the true cost of alcohol is a lot more than the financial cost of it, because there's hangovers, there's your food, there's even thinking further down the line and going, each one of us has dreams, and some of us might want to write a book, or some of us might want to have kids, or some of us might want to be a better parent. And what typically stands in the way of these things is too many drinks on a Friday night,
absolutely,
too many drinks on a Saturday night, or whatever. So it's kind of thinking about these things and getting your head in this situation, and then probably getting support. I think support is hugely important. So if you can get your family on board, if you've got a family or friends, because the biggest insecurities that people have around alcohol is go, oh my God, what will my friends say? I will not be fun without alcohol. Everyone will think I'm boring. What do I do to relax? What do I do to deal with stress? These are the biggest insecurities around alcohol. So it's going, which ones of these are the insecurities that ring most to you, and go, right, well, how can I think about these in advance and go, well, if it's the friends ones, it's probably going, okay, well, there's a couple of friends I want to talk to and say, hey, I'm doing this. Will you support me? There's maybe if you've got a husband or a wife or a partner or a roommate, talking to them about it. Maybe it is jumping on board, something like we've got our 28-day alcohol-free challenge. There's loads of them out there. There's loads of support groups. At least with that, you're kind of giving yourself a structure, because as you said, Janey, when you do give up alcohol, you've got more time, and you need to look at other activities. It can be hard because you're forced to look at yourself and go, well, like, what am I interested in? Where do I get fun from?
Yeah, and typically people associate, you know, as teenager, you kind of learn, you go out, you get drunk, and that's where fun happens. And you kind of forget about, at least when we were growing up and you were 12 and 14, a common question you'd ask someone is, what are your hobbies?
Yeah.
Because we all had hobbies. And I think part of finding fun is moving fun, at least the paradigm that fun is getting drunk on a Friday or Saturday night with all your friends, whereas fun could be getting up and going swimming or going for a sunrise run. It could be going dancing at a dance class. It could be painting. It could be, there's many different variations of fun. And it's just to almost take that time to connect with yourself and go, what's fun for me?
How can I get back to the real me? Because often we don't actually like ourselves very much, partly because we're drinking. So amazing. Oh, well, it's just so great. Everything that you've created, it's just so, it's wonderful. It's so positive. So just tell us where we can find more information. I'm absolutely desperate to come. I'm absolute, my new addiction is the sea. Well, it always has been, but that's a healthy one. So I am desperate to come to your cafe and have a walk by the sea. I can't wait.
Come join. We swim in the sea at sunrise. We've done it for about 8 years.
Amazing.
And swimming is like cold water exposure. So many people, when they drink, obviously you get a boost in serotonin, and typically your cortisol level will reduce initially, but then it'll increase. But through swimming in the sea, you get a similar buzz or dopamine release as that of taking cocaine, except you don't get the negative side effect. You get a more sustained release. You get an increase in oxytocin, which is typically your love or connection or friendship hormone. You get increased serotonin, and you typically get reduced cortisol. So swimming is a great buzz. Cold water exposure, deliberate cold water exposure.
Yeah, lovely tip. So just give us your website, guys. And
you'll find us on social media, The Happy Pear, or you'll find us on our website, thehappypear.ie. And we've got, as we said, we've got tons of different courses if anyone's looking for support in terms of that. And we've got a membership if anyone interested. But check us out. You'll find us on the internet.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Brilliant. Well, thanks, Janey. Absolute pleasure.
So we'll pop all the links on the show notes. Don't forget, they have an alcohol-free challenge. They've got all their Happy Pear courses, and obviously, you know, some amazing books. And as I said, I really want to get over there to see their place. And well, I'm not sure about the swim in the sea, but you know, I'll certainly dip the toes in. Okay. I mentioned, I think last week, that I have a sober coach training coming up in a couple of weeks, and somehow so many of the people coming on the training, it's a small group, but we're talking 3/4 of the people coming are all absolutely into their sea swimming. It's a thing. It really is a thing for people to get sober, that they want to step out their comfort zone, right, and try new things. And of course, being sober makes you brave, as we said on that interview. And so many of these guys are just desperate to get into the sea. And I did notice, by the way, Michael, Happy Without the Hooch, trying to convince me to join them in their seaside swim. That will not be happening. I do step out my comfort zone in other ways, but getting in the sea isn't one of them. I love being by the sea. You know that. It's my absolute passion. But I like to see it. You know, I like to kind of appreciate the waves and appreciate the ocean without actually having to be in it. Okay. You know, as you get older, you kind of know your own mind, right? That's fair enough, isn't it? Just a reminder that we have got Constellations this weekend. It's probably too late now, but if you are available last minute, you want to book onto our Family Constellations event, you would be very welcome. It's amazing, incredible work. Coming up in February, we've got a Sober by the Sea event, where we kind of create a vision board and we look to the future and what we want to manifest. And it's a really lovely day. It doesn't matter what stage you're at. You might be day one, sober curious, or maybe you've been sober for years. Doesn't matter. Would be lovely to see you. I think that's February the 18th. And the weekend before that, there's a self-care in sobriety retreat at Champneys in Tring. Again, doesn't matter what stage you're at. You'd be very welcome. So check all those things out. They're all at thesoberclub.com. Obviously, of course, I would love it if you wanted to join us, to be a member. If that doesn't resonate with you and you just want to support this work, you can go to Buy Me a Coffee /Janey Lee Grace. And, mine's a flat white in there. And of course, you can donate to our Sober Club Give Back Fund if that's something that's of interest to you. And as I said earlier, the podcast is 4 years old. How amazing. I'm so grateful to all of my listeners. I'm so grateful to you guys. Some people have listened to every single episode. I'm really grateful, and I'm really grateful for those of you that have taken the time to review it and rate it. It really makes a difference. It charts nearly every week in the Apple mental health chart. So the more reviews and the more shares we get, it will chart even higher. And we'll bring this message to, even more people, because that's the aim of this. Let's really change that conversation around booze. Let's change the conversation so that we're talking about living our best life, about well-being, about holistic living, about, being who we're really meant to be rather than caught in the ridiculous alcohol trap. I'd love to spread that message even further. So yeah, please do share the podcast. Please rate it. Please review it. You can just go on to, Apple Music or wherever you listen and just add your review. Please let me know if you have any recommendations for guests, and please share with me your favourite podcast. I'd really love to know. You can drop me a message on social media or via the Sober Club. And just once again, thank you. I so appreciate it. Of course, I absolutely love doing this work. I wouldn't do it otherwise. It's a total labour of love, and I absolutely love it. And as long as I've got amazing guests who are willing to come on and people who are really up for enjoying this conversation and being open-minded and hearing amazing things that just, sometimes it just takes one little line, doesn't it? One little line that somebody says and you keep thinking about it and a little light bulb goes on and it can change everything, literally everything. So thank you for being so open to being willing to change if that's what you want to do, or just being inspired and encouraged. It really makes a difference. So you know where to find me, thesoberclub.com, @Janey Lee Grace across social media. If you're doing Dry January, one more mention for you. Keep going. You're very welcome to drop me a message. I always say tell someone. It may not be the best idea to be telling those closest to you because they maybe haven't, been there, done it, got the t-shirt. So you can tell me and I'll be your cheerleader. See you next week. Thank you for listening to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by the Sober Club. Please rate and review. And if you want support, accountability and inspiration, and you want to live your best life without the booze, check out thesoberclub.com.